Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Claire. I've had an idea. I'd like to do a ribbon pour. I love ribbon pours. I'm going to layer up 2 cups. One will not have any silicone in, but one will have silicone in. So I have this idea. I'll do a normal ribbon pour, and then over the top, I'm going to pour the cup with the silicone to create some cells. So I'm thinking of water. I'm thinking of a sort of watery effect, and having some almost ripples of bubbles within the water. So I'm going for quite watery colours. So most of it will just be lines, but then there will be some cells. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out, or I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it, but there's an idea there, and I'm just going to try and have fun with it. So let me show you the colours I'm using. So these are all the colours I'm using. So you can see there's some bluey greeny colours, so some watercolours, but I'm also adding a hint of purple and a hint of pink because I just like the colours together. So to show you what I'm using, Montmartre turquoise, 3 Royal and Langnickel colours, cerulean blue, white and phthalocyanine blue. Then 2 Pebeo Studio acrylics colours, the silver and this iridescent green blue. 3 Amsterdams, I don't know the names of these, ultramarine violet light, primary cyan and light rose, and then Deco Art Americana bright, oh no, it's not bright blue, what's it called? I think it's on the top, deep sapphire. So they're all mixed with PVA glue and water, and I'll put the recipe for the mixture in the description of this video. I've got all 10 colours here. What I have done with, how many of them? 5 of them, is just removed a little bit from each cup and put them separately because they're going to be the colours with the silicone in that are going to create the wave, the bubbles. So some of these pots, for example, this turquoise is now only half full, whereas some of the others are still got plenty of paint in. So I think this is the order I'm going to layer them in. So I'm just going to layer up 3 cups, no silicone. So I'm next going to layer up 1 cup with the paint with the silicone. So I've just added a few drops of silicone to each of these colours, and I've also just found this colour. It's a colour that I had scraped from a worktop after a previous pour, but it's just going to fit perfectly. And it's got a slight shimmer to it, so I think it's a real mixture of colours, but I think combination wise it's going to fit perfectly, so I'm going to use that as well. I'm going to do, I think, slightly smaller layers in this cup. Slightly thinner layers, should I say. And that's just to get a little bit more a sort of interaction of the colours, so that when I torch it to get cells, I think I'm more likely to be able to get some cells appear. The canvas I'm using is 14 by 18 inches. It's a reused canvas, so I did a pour on here a while ago, but didn't like it at all. So I've just applied some gesso, and that just lightens it, but it also gives this really chalky finish, so that when I pour on top of it, the paint should stick. So I think I've got too much paint here already, looking at the cups versus the canvas. I'm going to do a ribbon pour in this direction. And then what I'm hoping to do is get quite a bit of paint on there, so I'm going to be able to tilt it around so I can get a bit of movement in it. Actually, unless I went this way. No, I think I'm going to go that way. So a ribbon pour simply means I'm just going to pour the paint on in lines like ribbons. Right, that's 2 cups worth. I'm just going to lay them on their side actually, just in case I get any more draining down. I love the colours. Colours are working really well. So what do I do? Do I use the last cup? I think I probably will use it because I've got a lot of canvas to cover. So I could tilt this. Oh, actually, no, do you know, there's quite a lot of paint on there, isn't there? No, I think I probably got enough. I just need to get the edges covered, and then just means I will save that last cup for something else. I've got a whole nother cup of lovely paint there to do something else with. Okay, let's try and get this covered. So I'm going to go up and down a bit just to get a little bit of movement in it, and also it will help to get the canvas covered. Oh, I've got plenty of paint here actually. Right, I think it would be a good time to torch it. So again, there's no silicone in this, so there shouldn't be any cells, or not many cells. There were a few cells already, just because the paint is interacting. Oh, I love these colours. So this is more just to burst the air bubbles. Now, with this last cup of paint, do I pour it in line, or do I go off at totally different angles? I'm going to just have a sip of coffee while I decide. I've got my other cup here ready to pour on. I don't really want to use the very top of the cup because it comes out really chunky. So I'm actually just going to pour some of that. I'm going to save all this paint, but I'm going to just pour some of that into another cup. And I'm going to go with the line of paint. Do you know, I still think I've got far too much paint in here. Right, I've got another canvas here. Let's just do a quick straight pour, because I want the paint that's at the end. Let's leave it like that for a minute. Let's put that down. Right, I've done it. Not sure if I've ruined it or added to it at the moment. So I'm now just going to torch it. It's not looking as good at the moment. I'm not as happy with it, but I'm hoping it will come to life a little bit more with some torching now. So I'm actually really quite happy with this. I liked it before, but I do like it now. And I'm not sure which I prefer. The paint surface is quite uneven. So I'm going to just attempt a very, very gentle tilt just to see if I can even it out slightly, because I've added paint on top. I'm not sure if I can even that out at all. I don't think I can without ruining this. It's just looking a bit uneven. It is leveling. Maybe I'll just leave it and hope that it sinks down. So what I'm liking is I've got these clear bands of cells, but then in contrast, lines without the cells. So I think it's actually quite effective. And I tried to go with the lines that were naturally in the paint, and I'm glad I've done that. Do you know, I think I am just going to leave it. Right, let me get you in for a close-up. This is such an interesting painting. I think it's going to dry quite dark. I think I should have added a little bit more white, but I'm glad I put the white in the bubbles, and that was totally deliberate. I wanted the white in the bubbles. So hopefully that will just, the contrast, it will go darker, but then you've got the contrast of the white bubbles. It is so pretty. The colours are gorgeous. The pale pink is a bit lost, but the purple has come through in quite a few places. You can see some purple in there and up here. It's quite busy and it's quite chaotic, but I like that. I don't like what's the word? The opposite of busy, quiet paintings. I like full-on crazy colour chaos in a painting. And that's exactly what I've got here. So there are some sections like there's no silicone in that or here, but some beautiful effects. So it will be interesting to see how it dries. If I show you from here, can you see? No, it's looking quite level actually. I was just wondering if I could show you the unevenness of it. I think because it's paint is quite self-leveling, I'm hoping actually it might level. So I'll be back when it's dry. So I just thought I would try and create something from this. So this was the straight pour just to get rid of some of the paint. And there was the original bit of the cup, the top bit of the cup still in here. So I'm just going to keep straight pouring on the top. See what I get. I might as well use the paint. If it doesn't work, that's absolutely fine. I can just scrape this canvas. But it will be interesting because this paint has the silicone in it, so it will be really interesting to see what effects that will have. When I torch it, I probably won't torch all of it because I think that will be a mistake, because I think it will just cover in cells. So I might just try torching different bands. Right, let's put some gloves on. And I've also scraped, you can see, I've scraped the worktop, and I've got this whole amazing cup of a lighter blue now from the worktop. So I'm going to use that as some flow extender. I'm going to torch it just in a few lines, like that. What's so interesting about this is I just have a feeling I might end up liking this painting more than the original, the intended one. I love it. I love the fact that it's round. I love the fact that you've got the little tiny cells. I'm not stretching the cells. I like them as they are. Tiny little cells. Can you see the sparkle there? That's the Deco Art blue, you can see. I love that purple shining through as well, coming through. It blends really, really beautifully. I'm glad I tipped that big white section off because you've now got some white, but it's a little bit more subtle. The centre is quite subtle as well. It's not as dramatic as a straight pour, and that's because the cup was tipped up a couple of times. So the colours have all blended a lot more. Oh, it's so pretty. Right, I'll be back when it's dry. I'll show you them both when they're dry. So they're both now dry. I'm going to show you both of them, and then I will tell you which is, I'll tell you which is my favourite now. The small one, the round one, I love it, but I'll come over to that one in a second. So this is obviously the main one. There's good things and there's bad things. The good things is that it worked. So I've got nice lines of bubbles and ripples. The bad thing is that it is a little bit textured. The paint was quite thick, so it is textured out and it's dried a little bit bumpy. It just looks a little, I hate to say this, but a little bit too chaotic. It's very much like water. It is as I wanted it to be. I just prefer the other one. But let me show you the details because the cells are just so pretty. Let's just focus. It's definitely like running water, like rapids. Something slightly odd happened here. It's almost down to bare canvas there. It's a slight dip. So I think that was probably where there was some thick paint next to some thinner paint. I love having the purple showing through. So it's so pretty, and I love the white in the bubbles. I think that makes it just look a little bit more realistic and water-like. So really happy, generally, although I prefer this one. So this one is a lot more subtle. There's a lot less contrast, but this one just looks like a whirlpool to me. I just love it. Thank goodness for the torching because it's highlighted brought out some of the white and some of the contrast. I think without the torching, it would have looked a little bit too bland. It's just quite subtle, but I like that. I don't normally like subtle, but I do in this case. I just think, I just prefer it. Composition works really well. I love the centre, and it's not, oh, sorry, didn't mean to jump there. It's not an obvious centre, but it's just so pretty. So there they both are. Let me know which you prefer, the big one, the rectangular one, or the round one. Great, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.